Have you ever had element from a previous dream appear in a recent dream, as if the timelines coincided, and if so how did it happen for you? Not recent, but one of my most intensely felt dreams was one in which I was in love with a beautiful young blonde woman. We were below decks on an old sailing ship. She was about to be transported as punishment to Australia. We were heartbroken. It was anguish. In the end, she moved backwards in a series of shots. The whole part of the room she was in moving farther and farther back, growing smaller and smaller. Then she was gone. She was the product of a dream, not anyone I'd ever met. Many years later, she returned for one dream. She had aged, as had I. We both remembered our passion, and how much being torn from each other had devastated us. But she was back to let me know it was okay. She had gotten on with her life. She would always miss me, but she was content, and had lived a good life. Maybe this dream was your mind crossing dimensional planes and you actually were talking to someone who once existed or still does. Maybe it's a path in life that you would have experienced, but you landed up making decisions which changed that, and therefore you didn't meet her. So interesting to hear other people's stories and the infinitely complex behaviors of the unconscious mind. I know it sounds stupid, but I have a recurring character in my dreams. It's a frog wearing a top hat that rides around in a shopping cart and gives me really cryptic life advice that ends up being actually useful in my life. Like stabbing me in the gut and telling me not to let my friends do that to me. A couple days later I found out my now ex-girlfriend was cheating on me with my now ex-best friend. Every time he's in my dreams I wake up really sweaty for some reason. Ah, the fever frog. All my homies love the fever frog. Similarly, I've been having a recurring dream since childhood. However, each time I have a dream, it gets a little bit longer and I see more of the story. It's a rare dream that I only have once every 2 years or so, and is significant as I don't usually remember much of my dreams, but every time I have this specific dream I remember most of it. I hope I get to the ending before I die. You idiot. That is not a dream. It is a prophecy. The chosen one is here. Ah yes, chosen. I have a dream usually once a month, where I chat to my childhood best friend, and catch her up on what's been happening in my life. She died when we were 15 years old. Interdimensional gateway. Yes, I had a horrible one this week where me and my ex had killed someone, and I was trying to dispose of the body. Was really graphic and vivid. Couldn't remember what we'd done to him, but I knew I'd dreamed about it previously. Weird. I'm also on a medication that gives me crazy dreams, so that did not help. What was the smell like? I'm serious. Let me preface this by saying I absolutely didn't kill someone. I occasionally have these incredibly vivid dreams where I've accidentally killed a hobo or an intruder and he's been wrapped up in a tarp in my basement, or buried under yard waste / whatever in the back of my truck for months. The smell is unforgettably unique and incredibly awful. It was so vivid I actually had to piece together all the impossibilities when I half woke up the first time I had this recurring dream. I've never smelled a rotting human corpse. Never want to, but I've been around rotting animals and this is completely different. People who have those say it is a totally unique smell you'll instantly know and never forget. So I always wonder if that's what I'm actually smelling, and if it is some sort of innate thing all humans share and would recognize. As much as someone can remember a smell, I can remember it awake. Do people smell in their dreams? I've never had smells in my dreams at all. No music, either. My crush talking to me about tanks in one dream and fighter jets in another. She seems to remember our previous conversation in the later dream, and mocks me for being a tank nerd. That means I like you in girl. Happens all the time. A recurring location of my dreams was a 4-story house that was haunted. The ghost lived on the 4th floor, but had dominion over the 3rd floor as well, and both were uninhabited. Over the course of many dreams, I got to the point where I could climb up to the 3rd floor, then up to the 4th. Finally, I confronted the ghost in its lair, kicking the wall to the outside down, and letting the daylight in. Next thing you know, I was outside the house, watching it collapse in on itself. After that the house stopped appearing in my dreams. This is just an assumption, but have you ever considered that you fighting your way up both floors and defeating the ghost was your unconsciousness somehow showing you that you had conquered a fear or difficult situation in your life, like getting over a death, attaining that goal that has been haunting you, or even fighting off your own negative feelings, for example, as if you fought off your inner demons. I had these dreams 2 nights in a row when I was around 12, 14 yo. In the first dream I was paralyzed, and in a summer camp of sort, there was a boy that I had huge crush on. He had a dark brown hair, blue eyes and a blue hoodie. His name was Ilo, which means happiness/joy in Finnish. We did stuff together like went bad watching etc. I thought about that dream the whole day, and next night Ilo was in my dream again. He said, "I like you, but I'm so far away." I said that I know, and that I like him too. Then we sat on a bench, my head on his shoulder, and just chilled. Guess what my boyfriend looks like? He has blue eyes and a dark brown hair. I like to think it was destiny or something, even though I don't usually believe in those things. Sealant Tofferi made me AWW. Nakudjornilo Lawisi Mutt. I have no idea what the fuck you guys are saying, but it sounds wholesome, so take my upvote. Thanks dude, appreciate that. A recurring location. An apartment. I've never been to such an apartment before, nor have I seen one like it anywhere, but I see it in my dreams quite often. The layout remains the same every time, but details change. It's a little freaky, but it's my safe space in the dream world. Wait, that doesn't happen in every dream. At this point I have the whole MCU but with dreams. I would love to hear more about this, cause my dreams never overlap. Every dream consists of something different. Most of my dreams have some sort of recurring element. Like if I get a tattoo in one, I'll have it the next. If I get hurt, I'll have a scar. It's basically like one continuous story with me jumping into random point every night. Both me and my sister have this, so I thought it was normal lol. Yay, not everyone does that. Most folks can't remember more than a few snippets of their dreams. That's interesting. I remember some snippets vividly, and the rest is a bit hazy. Fun fact. Remembering dreams can give you serious déjà vu moments. I had a dream recently where certain element of a previous dream I had came into play in that current dream. Certain objects that I hid in the trunk of my car in a previous dream were still in my car in that current dream. It even had a slurry of previous dreams mixed into that dream. It was like throwing 4 dreams into a blender and having it come out as one. But the timeline and events followed perfectly. There was a sense of continuity. It was so vivid, yet so baffling to understand how my brain had achieved such a thing. Not sure if I'm the only one, or if this is rare, but that's why I'm asking Reddit. That's interesting. How would you explain it? This happens to me all the time. Usually I'll just think, hey, this reminds me of that one dream, and then I just kinda laugh, because at that point I'm fully conscious that I'm dreaming. Another thing that'll happen to me often is my dog Snoopy shows up. He passed 5 years ago, but somehow my brain rationalizes that he miraculously is back, and I don't question it. I get to enjoy hanging out and playing with my best friend again. It's great, but at the same time, fucks with me really bad when I wake up and have to remember that he is gone. My dog pops back up too, but he always looks way older, and that part makes me a bit sad. But he seems happy, and I always pet him and everything. I had a trilogy of a dream. I fought snakes with axe, I had a sidekick with ammo, but no one had a gun. We crossed bridges and finally killed the boss snake. It was like 3 blue whale big. Okay, adventuring through a forest, reach a cliff top, and see a beautiful lake with a small village next to it. I see a boat capsized. I dive in from the cliff, and reach the boat. Find a little girl clinging to a box, and trying to keep her head in the air pocket. Get her out, and she opens the box and hands me a strange mechanical egg. End of dream. 12 years later, adventuring through a jungle. It's hot and sweaty, but I'm doing okay. Set up camp, and get my pants from my bag. Pull out a strange mechanical egg. Absolutely 100% has to do with my adventure, but I never found out what. 12 years from now, will you be exploring some sort of labyrinth? I recently had a dream about covered and being hospitalized, but basically watching as a third person, and it always follows the same sequence of events. I've had it about 5 times. This happens in 90% of my dreams. Some recurring location/themes are mysterious European town, house where I grew up, grandmother's house, aliens, both grey and Giga style, massive, tiled, dirty public restrooms with no doors on stalls, music performance I'm late for, or can't make instrument work, vacant shopping mall from the 80s, I can smell the pretzels and orange Julius, me running and jumping and going 90 feet in the air, falling back down to a crash landing and waking up. One night I woke up 2 times in the middle of the night. Every time I slept I dreamed with a sequel of the dream I had on the last sleep. Like, I went to sleep at 10 PM, and I had the first dream. Then woke up in the middle of the night. Slept again and I dreamed a sequel of the first dream. Woke up again. Slept and dreamed the sequel of the sequel lol. Deadest have had multiple dreams, where I look up the nutrition facts for potatoes. Not sure if that's got anything to do with coinciding timelines, or if I just really like potatoes. I dream of the same city often. Particularly a mall, including a few individual shops and what they sell. I see people I know in the mall, even if I haven't seen them in years. I could easily sketch a build of the mall, outside, parking lot, and some of the surrounding buildings and roads. I don't recognize any of it, but I still dream of it pretty often. I have lots of stories from this dream city that are pretty odd. I enjoy it. What stores are in this mall, and outside of it? I have recurring element in my dreams all the time, some of which I've had since I was a child, and I'm 38 now. I have dreams of a large glass building that's been laid to waste, and the only way up to the high floors is to climb up some kind of stack of desks in the middle. I have dreams of a converted studio basement with a kitchen, a sofa and a bed. I once dreamed that I dropped a box of screws onto the floor, and every time since then, the screws have still been there, and something always prevents me from picking them up. Funnily enough, I've always dreamt that I've gone downstairs into that same basement, but the house from which I was coming was always the one I'm actually living in now. I've dreamt that dream so much at this point that I think I could convert our actual basement and model it precisely according to the dream. Creepy ghost voice. If you build it, they will come. I often have dreams of a small library with a glass domed roof, and one of the bookshelves falls down from the wall, leaving a gaping hole into an undefinable void. That one always has me waking up screaming for some reason, even though I can never remember what exactly I saw behind the bookshelf. I had two dreams several years apart where I was in a hotel hallway, but I was looking at it from two different angles. It's usually just places for me, never any characters except for those that I've met IRL. I've always had a hunch that it's connected to what I was feeling before going to sleep. One location always sticks out to me, a sort of tropical hidden jetaway, with a large rusted metal walkway and an oil pipe bridge over a river. The only way to climb the walkway up is through a ladder. While going down, stairs seem to appear. The walkway is very high up though, about 2 meters wide, and seems to cut off at the midpoint. This scene has always been present when I'm dreading for something to happen / nervous about something life-changing / something very significant is about to happen. Now, I can't really remember the others, but this location has been so vivid, and it's always the same, that I can't even forget about it. I've had basically an entire area in my dreams that I have visited many times. It doesn't relate to any real place that I know of, but I have had a whole series of dreams in different places in the same area. Some foothills, apartment blocks with a park, subways and tram lines, and all sorts of dreams that take place in that same area. No idea why. I used to keep a dream diary in high school, and after a while I did start noticing patterns and reoccurring element in my dreams. Black dogs, weird moons, and finding piles of coins happened often in my dreams, to the point where I'd realize I was dreaming just from seeing one of these things. Though the only time I ever had two dreams that seemed to continue from one to the other was one I had fairly recently. I dreamed that atomic bombs were dropping all over the world, and just as one fell near me and the shockwave approached, I ducked into a big metal coffin and sealed myself inside. The following night I dreamed that I got out of that same coffin and discovered that the world had been completely covered by a massive futuristic city with heavy Japanese aesthetics, sort of like a cyberpunk version of Tokyo. I've had many dreams where I try to turn on a light and doesn't work. I instantly know that I'm dreaming when it happens. For me those are always nightmares. I have some consistent dream settings. So if I dream about high school, it's generally the same building that doesn't actually look much like my high school at all. Sort of. I've dreamt of the same city since I was in my lower teens. Just like a real city, it has different neighborhoods with different architectural styles depending on when they were built. There's an uptown and a downtown. I even have my own apartment. I really miss it when I haven't dreamt of it in a while. This happened a while ago, but still, in this dream, I was Ben 10 for some reason. I turn to my left and open a Minecraft chest and pick up a Smash Brothers invitation card. Ben 10 in Smash? Fuck yeah. I yelled as I opened the card, but to my dismay, this is what the card said. From Past me. To future me. You thought this was a smash invitation? Lol. Yeah, be-a-ted nerd. That's when I remember that approximately 3 weeks ago, I had dream where I wrote this exact same card and put it inside the Minecraft chest. I just trolled myself in my dreams for no reason. Was just talking about reoccurring dreams to my wife last night. Weird coincidence. When I was around 7, I dreamed of Meep from Phineas and Ferb chasing me around trying to kill me. The dream ended when I ran into a room and locked the door. A year or so later I dreamt about Meep kicking down the door and chatting me until he cornered me and killed me. What?